That was probably our intro. Yes, it was. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to Inside Line Racing Season 3. We are back once again for the season opener in Australia. This is ILR2. It's been a short off-season, not as long as the previous one between Season 2 and Season 3. But we're back once again. We just had ILR1 finish, and what a race that was, with intermediate conditions, etc, etc. Full grid today for ILR2, and joining me in the commentary box, as always, is, of course, Brandon. How was your ILR1 debut?
Not the best.
That's probably putting it mildly.
Could have been a lot better.
Anyways, an intriguing race. Plenty of battles between the top 5. Beastars coming out on top there, but here we're going to focus on the guys in the middle tier, kind of halfway between everybody. ILR2. A few guys, well, a lot of the guys are the same. They've been here for a number of seasons, but one of the tiers didn't really change that much. But we've got a few new guys in here. We'll go through those as per. But yeah, we saw Paga. He's one of the new boys in ILR2. Well, we say new boys. He's not really. He took a win in his debut as a reserve driver. So he's finally got a full-time drive in ILR2, moving up from ILR3. We got Mr. Costa 96, who was replacing Voltex Billy, who pulled out last minute. And Mr. Costa, the Portuguese man, I believe he was a reserve driver back in Season 1 of ILR1. I seem to remember him. So we welcome him along, of course. And we also have Void's COD as one of the new boys as well. So plenty of new talent in, and we of course have currently on the top of the timing sheets is Tom, who is now part of a team. Oh dear. But we have Tom, then we have Matt in the Toro Rosso. We have to get used to the guys and all their new cars, new teammates, so we'll have to get used to all of that. Matt, then we have Sam in the Mercedes this year, was in the Renault last season but is in the Mercedes this year. Paga going for the Williams. Then we have DNA Joe, one of the guys moving into ILR3 this year as well in the McLaren. We have Acorn 95 in the Sauber. Pagani, who was in the Mercedes last season but is now in the McLaren, the full-time drive. Phil Bardwell was in the Mercedes last year but is now teammates with Acorn 95 in the Sauber. Liam Robbo in the Force India this season. Then we have Corey, who is now teammates with Paga, interestingly enough. Currently in P16, but I would have to say probably one of the title favourites this season. We have Luke, who has moved to the Renault team. Paul McGuinness, Toro Rosso, teammates with the Matter, and ILRGT, who's not out on track yet, but currently the fastest time is a 1:21.8 from Silent Assassin in the Ferrari. And Mr. Costa, kind of asserting himself a little bit there. He's in P3 on a 1:22.0, so everybody's pretty close together. But Brandon, what would you say would be the pole time today? What are we looking for?
I'm going to judge this more off their time trial times and the fact that ILR1 didn't have a dry qualifying. I'll have to go for maybe a mid 1:21 at best. At that time anyway, I think Paga or possibly Corey are again the favourites, not just for the title this season, but also for pole in this race. From what I've seen anyway, obviously everyone could have been sandbagging in beforehand, and testing showed no one's true pace, so let's hope for the best.
So there's George popping into pole on a 1:21.6. Now George, we know what happens when he gets pole. It never ends well. He always seems to disconnect off a pole position, so he'd want to not qualify on pole to make sure he stays in the race. But there he is, the Spaniard in his third season. Here, 1:21.6 in the Force India. Teammates with Liam Robbo, if I'm correct. Is Liam in the Force India? I think he is. But there he is. Then we have Silent Assassin P2, Tom in P3, Lioblade in P4, moved from Haas to Red Bull this season. Then we have a couple of others, Hellboy I missed, and a couple of others have not set times yet. But we're looking to see if we can maybe get a ride on board with somebody. We're going to ride on board with Corey as he comes to the last sector of this Albert Park circuit. So, a very, very tight section of track, hard on the brakes for this left-hander, and we head towards the Murray Straight. He's coming into the pit lane. so that's going to be a Voids, I think, is about to go onto a lap. We're on strict corner cutting this season, so we're going to see a lot of penalties. So here we go, through turn 1, and we're into the first DRS section on board with Voids Cod here. And hard on the brakes into this right-hander, nicely on the power. And into this tough little section, this left-hander, don't run it out too wide. He's definitely run too wide there, and that's exactly what I was trying to say. If you run too wide, you're on the speed bumps, and if you get caught on the speed bump in an F1 car, they don't like to turn, and it's not good. It will end badly for you. But on board with Cods as he rides through Sector 2 here, we're running down to this wonderful section of track where we saw the 2018 cars go absolutely flat through the first part. But let's see if Voids can do that here. Dropping down 2 gears, but so quick through there. Had to lift slightly as he got the car a little bit out of shape through that sector. And down towards Sector 3 we go then. This is where they added the 3rd DRS section this season. Here we go through the last section of corners then. Hard on the brakes. And let's see how he gets on. And he's going to ruin the whole thing and come into the pits. But there you go. That is a lap of Albert Park, sort of. But currently George still on provisional pole by about 0.2 of a second. A couple of drivers still yet to make a lap. And one of those is AVR Jake down in 20th currently. But let's see how he gets on. Let's see. Running through the last section then. Let's see. Getting nicely through that left-hander. Through the long right-hander onto the Murray straight. DRS for the Mercedes. Where is this going to put Jake? He's going to come across the line and go 10th with that lap. 122.2. Good lap, but a little bit slower than his teammate, who is in 8th position currently on a 122.1. So they're still relatively close together. But we'll see how that unfolds.
It's a second separating 1st until 13th.
Yeah, that's how competitive it is. It was almost like ILR1 was pretty much the same. It was 1.3 between the top 15 as far as I remember. Something like that, but it was something stupid like that. Pag, I believe, about to go onto a lap, and he's going through turn 1 currently. Let's see how he gets on in the Williams.
I am just going to correct you. It's only ILR1 which is strict for this season at the moment.
Ah, okay. That's probably for the best.
I was looking at some of these laps. I was sitting here like, hang on, the reputation of some of these drivers, they wouldn't be that.
Oh well, so ILR1 is the only one on strict corner cutting. At least we have that clarified. At the moment. Yeah, good point. But I just saw Paul McGuinness pop into 10th with a 122.2. It's very, very close. As you said, a lot of these drivers from 8th down to 10th, or about 7th down to 10th, are within about 100th of each other, or about 1/10 of each other. It's very, very close indeed. We have 1.5 minutes remaining, so when they come across the line next, it'll be their final opportunity to set a lap here today. It's currently George on pole position, with Silent Assassin P2 and Tom in P3. Let's see what Paga can do. Let's see if he can pop his Williams on pole position. He runs through the final corner. DRS open, a little bit late on the DRS there, but let's see as he runs towards the line. It's going to be P1 for Paga on a 121.552. So he pops in front of George with that lap. So now we're going to see a flurry of lap times. Everybody is on track at this point in time. It's going to get very, very close for space. Paga has another chance at a lap. George, I think, may or may not make it across the line. It's going to be very tight, but let's see if he can make it. Paga is happy with his lap. I think the next person to come across the line, I believe, will be, I think, Tom. I'm not sure if he's on a lap, though. It looks like he's quite tentative there. I don't think he is on a lap. He might be going on to one.
Yes, he is. I think he's trying to burn as much fuel as he could before going onto his lap.
Yeah, well, Luke has given up. He's going to be starting 18th today. Not good from him. Corey, I think, has had an absolute disaster. I don't know if he's disconnected or he's in the pause menu, but he's not going to get across the line, and he's going to start last today. His teammate on pole position and Corey in last.
On his birthday, nonetheless.
Oh, I did forget it was his birthday.
He's trying to do a last to first challenge on his birthday, I reckon. He wants one memorable race on his birthday. And I reckon that's exactly what he's got in his mind.
He did it once before in Brazil Season 1, so let's see if he can do it again. By the way, Lyle Blade popped into third on a 121.693. George has given up. He's had enough. Let's see, can anybody else challenge? I'm not sure they can. And Lyle Blade is still on the lap, and he's about a tenth of a second up on his best as we go through Sector 2 then. So just under a tenth on his lap delta on his steering wheel is what we're seeing. Flexi pops into fourth place there as he gets in front of Silent Assassin, and that was a complete corner cut right there. He's given up on that one. Yeah. I think he knew that, so he backed out of it. But that's going to be it. Lyle Blade will start in third, and I don't think anybody else is on the lap apart from maybe DNA Joe. I think he may be about to cross the line. Where's he going to go? He's going to go into ninth with that lap. And Tom, oh dear.
Getting wiggly.
Where does he go? Does not improve. So it's going to be Paga who's going to start on pole position in his first full-time race in ILR2 for Williams. It's going to be George alongside him on the front row. Lyle Blade will start third alongside Sam in fourth. Silent Assassin will start in P5. Mr. Costa on his debut will start in sixth. Hellboy will start seventh. Tom will start eighth. We'll run through the order when we get the full timing sheet up now in a moment. But still, it is a very going to be a very, very interesting race, I reckon. So there's your confirmation. About a tenth of a second was all it was, but that's how close it was. Let's go down to the bottom. It was a second separating the top 15, and that is how close it is. So we'll run through the order again. We'll go from Tom, DNA Joe, Matt, Jake, Scott, Paul, Liam, Phil, Pagani, Acorn. We have Luke, Voids, and on his birthday, Corey starts in 20th position. Let's see how far he can get himself up the grid.
I think he could have a bit of a birthday shocker if he gets caught up in a lap 1 incident.
Yeah, I'm really not sure who to pick for this win. Who's your pick, Brandon?
I don't know. It's too close to call, in my opinion. If I had to go on pure race pace over anything, and as long as he doesn't get caught up in an incident, I actually think Flexi might have a shot at winning.
Yeah, what scenes that would be.
Because his qualifying pace, he's not known for his 1 lap pace. He's far more consistent in the race over his 1 lap pace, and the fact that he's this high up already, I think he's definitely got a shot at that win.
Absolutely. So we're counting down to the formation lap before we get underway here in Australia for the season opener of ILR2 Season 3. Imagine we're 3 seasons in to Inside Line Racing, and of course we are going to see a new champion this year, no matter what, because it's me. Callum was promoted to ILR1, so any one of these drivers could potentially become world champion. And Jack did warn me at the start of the season by looking at the lineups that potentially at least half of the field here are capable of taking race victories. So this could be one of the best seasons that we've seen so far. So let's run through your grid order once more. Paga leads the way, P1 pole position. George starts on the front row in P2. Lyle Blade starts P3. Sam will start P4, Silent Assassin P5, Mr. Costa P6, Hellboy P7, Tom in P8, DNA Joe in P9, and Matter will start in P10. Now, outside the top 10 with free tyre choice, AVR Jake, Scott, then we have Paul McGuinness, Liam Robbo, Phil Bardwell in P15, Pagani in P16, Acorn in P17, Luke in P18, Void caught in P19, and down the back, last of the order is Corey.
The tyre selection for the grid anyway is the top 10 all on ultra softs, then it's AVR Jake on softs, Scott on super softs, Paul on softs, Liam on softs, Phil Bardwell on super softs, Guy on softs, Acorn on softs, Luke on softs, Boyd Cod on Super Softs, and Corey taking the surprise tyre choice of Ultra Softs.
Yeah, he just wants to go for it. And I guess that's the attitude we like in ILR. But we had an intriguing season opener of the 2018 F1 season earlier today. And it's fitting that we should have the season opener of Inside Line Racing on the exact same day here in Australia, as we're having the final car pull into position. It's going to be Acorn 95, and the Sauber is going to be last to pull into position. So here we go then. We're counting down to those 5 red lights for Season 3 of ILR2. We're about to get underway in Australia for the season opener of ILR2. Who's going to come out on top today? It's lights out, and away we go. Great start from George. Great traction off the line. Can he challenge Paga into turn 1? No, he can't. So it's going to be Paga leading into turn 1, George P2, and Libo P3. They all hold station in the top 4. Silent Assassin makes up his position to P5, and challenging down towards the next corner. It's going to be Lyle Blade looking to see if he can get past George, but no cigar for him. There's a little bit of contact in the background between a Ferrari and a Haas I saw there. So let's see who's the big loser. That Matt has dropped right down to the back. There's been a problem for him, but no big instance like we saw in ILR1. So everybody getting through nice and cleanly. Paga holds station, George P2, Lible P3, Flexi P4, Hellboy P5. We saw an Assassin P6, Mr. Custom P7. He's starting to challenge, looking back down the inside of Silent Assassin into that right-hander. Can he make that move stick? But he's going to be challenged by Tom. They may go 3 wide. They are going to go 3 wide towards the next left-hander. That is absolute madness already. He gets shoved out, and Tom, can he make that move stick? No, he can't. But already going 3 wide in the opening lap here. There's a little bit of gravel getting sprayed up as Mr. Costa lost out massively. He got shoved into the wall by the Ferraris. So a little bit of madness there. I think Sam made the move for P3. Liveblade has lost 2 positions in the space of a corner. Sam into P3, Hellboy into P4. Chaotic opening lap then, as always, in ILR2. So Paga leads the way after 1 lap. And we have George, Flexi, Hellboy, Liveblade, Silent Assassin. And we have Tom, Mr. Costa, as we have DNA Joe coming in for a pit stop. And that's Luke out of the season opener. Whereas he's been in the wall in the final corner. Oh dear, that is one very broken looking Renault.
He's down Julian Palmer.
Yeah, and we had multiple cars in. There's been an instance somewhere down. We have DNA Joe, Corey, and AVR Jake all in for stops for front wings. So there's been an instant there, and what a shame for Luke to go out in the season opener. But that is how it goes. So then, all the top 10 still very close together, still keeping each other honest. So we have Paga just pulling out a 1 second gap over George there, keeping himself, making sure he doesn't have the DRS next time around. But we'll see how that goes. Sam 1.4 behind those two. They start to pull away as Hellboy's now got a massive run out of that chicane. Is he going to challenge Sam into this right-hander? He's going to try and hang it around the outside. No, he can't do that there. So let's see then. He's going to be vulnerable to Lioblade if it carries on like this. As he runs a bit wide, Lioblade does the same. So 2 Red Bull teammates very close together indeed. As we run around this next sequence of corners. Oh, big twitch from Lioblade on the way out. George sets fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Let's see any moves being made anywhere. No, we see a little bit of a train form between Acorn 95 and I think Paul McGuinness wants to be the head of that train. He wants the hashtag MCG train to be back here, but it's now the Acorn train that we have this season in the season opener. So let's see if Paul McGuinness can maybe make a move into P10 in the Toro Rosso. No cigar from there. Thinks about moving down the inside. He actually touches him in the rear end. And let's see if Paul McGuinness can make this move around the outside. No way, Sunshine. He gets shoved off, and that's him around. And there's contact into the wall. Goes Paul McGuinness, and I believe that was one of the Force Indians. I think it was Liam.
Liam Robo.
Yeah, dear. That was a little bit clumsy.
He's just been saved by Liam from going into the wall and retiring. Liam has just been Paul's saving grace, no matter how much front wing he's lost.
Oh, 2 Sauber teammates went out. Oh, Paul McGuinness is out of this race. He's where? Oh dear, he's gone straight on. There's a pro. My God, there's been a massive stack up. Mr. Costa's had a problem, and I think there's been contact. I think there's been contact. Flexi's dropped down, and I think it's actually been between himself and Blade. There's been oh my God, there's been a huge crash, huge crash down the back straight. What on earth has happened? There's just been a massive stack up. Absolute carnage. Flexi involved, Blade involved, and multiple cars picking up damage there. And look at the field now. It's now Paga, George, Silent Assassin, Scott, Liam Robbo, Phil Bargewell. What has happened here? We missed that. I couldn't quite see. I just saw this massive stack up of cars. That was a multiple car. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars involved.
I've just watched Voids straight line past everyone into the wall just before the pits. That has to be one of the most bizarre pile-ups and some of the worst spatial awareness I've seen in quite a fair time, and I've literally just raced an ILR1.
Well, I think Blade and Flexi may have made contact. And think himself and Hellboy perhaps as well, but that has mixed up the field entirely. Paga and George together now, but it's now Silent Assassin P3 and Scott up in P4, Phil Bargewell in P5, Liam Robbo in P6, The Matter in P7, and that'll be Sam in 8th, Dino Joe in 9th, and Corey has been in the wall. He's lost his front wing. He was running 10th, but he now drops to 12th and he's out. Oh, well, that was a pretty... Well, he's left the session. He should be able to get back, but that's not the birthday he wanted.
This has been one of the most weirdest displays of racing, I think, in the history of racing.
I'm not quite sure what to think of that incident.
The IndyCar crash was bad, but that was just as chaotic.
I just saw debris and cars all over the road, and... I don't even know what to think. I just saw, just tonguing his way past Corey there. Yeah, so the top 2 unaffected, and they continue on in their own race. But we may see the group chat explode in a little while. So let's keep an eye on this little battle up front between George and Paga. Just keeping each other honest right now. Silent Assassin 4.9 back, but he has got Scott for company. So Scott has made his way through all of the carnage and got himself up to P4. Same with Phil Bargewell and Liam Robbo, along with The Matter. The top 7 kind of just made their way through all that carnage somehow or another. But they're very, very lucky indeed. Lap 5 of 29. George within 0.4 of a second of Paga. Oh!
I think the lucky scapegoat out of that all was Sam. He came out with near enough no damage.
Yeah, I think he just came out with some brown trousers. That might be it. But I did see a Red Bull facing backwards. I think Sam just may have just lost the back end a little bit, but he made his way through. He's still in 8th, so you can just maybe just get his head down again and go chasing after The Matter, who is the next car up ahead. We have lost 4 cars from this race already, with a 5-car pile-up in the first 5 laps. So an interesting season opener to say the least. Now we're looking back at this battle between Scott and Silent Assassin. Now Scott is on the Super Softs, so he started outside the top 10. So now he's actually in a good position here. If he can maybe just keep this pace on, he may end up leading for a little while. But yeah, some good pace from Scott right now. He's starting to challenge Silent Assassin. Silent Assassin runs a bit wide out of that right-hander. That is the AI of Corey there, who's now getting lapped by these two. And this is the battle for the podium. Renault versus Ferrari. And just up ahead we have Force India and Williams going at it. Let's see.
Hellboy and AVR Jake fighting.
Oh, yeah,
side
down
by
here.
Side.
Oh, that's Hellboy up to P10.
A bit of a scuffle, but the Red Bull comes out on top. He's got a bit of a mission to go on now. He's going to hunt down the AVR Jake's teammate, most likely. He'll be too pleased after what happened in that incident. I'm sure we'll be able to get details of it further on, but for now we can assume is that everyone collided and just a massive get-together.
Silent Assassin in for his stop then. So let's see, he's making an early stop. He's going to go on to the super soft tyres. Let's see where's this going to bring him out. It's going to bring him out in some traffic here. Flexi comes in. as well. So where's this going to leave the field after that? That'll promote the Matter up to P6, Liam Robert to P5, Phil Bargewell to P4, and Scott now in a comfortable P3. And Paga, I think, may have just been controlling the pace that entire time, because now the gap is now up to 1.4 seconds all of a sudden. Now where's Sam going to come out? He's going to come out behind his teammate. So he's going to come out behind Jake and Hellboy. And I think all these three were all involved in that accident, so perhaps a little bit of red mist will descend between these guys. We'll see how that unfolds. Let's see. Moving back up the order, we have Liam Robbo now on the back of Phil Bargewell. This is for P4 in this race. Front runners still yet to stop. The third and fourth have not stopped. And will not stop for a little while. And Liam Robbo, interestingly, on the softs, still being able to go even longer into this race. Perhaps
what Liam's trying to, because it does look awfully cloudy, and
banking on
we
rain.
have inside detail of it going to be a full dry race. Maybe Liam's trying to go as far as he can on those softs, and then put a set of ultra softs at the end when the car's the lightest, and just go and pump out those laps at the end and try and make the most of their tyres. Because on the game, it's a lot easier to overtake on the game than it is in real life in Australia.
Yeah.
So maybe he's banking on his ability to overtake being far superior than everyone's defending. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we'll see in due course. A gap between George and Pagan up to 2.1 as Hellboy sets the fastest laps. All those guys are now starting to get the hammer down on these set of super softs. This is the closest battle really we have on track currently, is between the Force India and the Sauber. So let's see, soft versus super softs. Interesting that Liam is quicker on the softs. Maybe not that much of a drop off between the super softs and softs, but keeping an eye on this battle. No third DRS zone here. It's just been added for the 2018 season, so we won't have DRS down this straight. Not that it'd be effective anyway. But we have a yellow flag in Sector 3, and that's Acorn 95 out of this race. As I think George has had a problem as well, because Scott has just passed him. Yeah, he's going slowly. George is going slowly. Scott will now take the lead as Paga makes his pit stop. So this will leave. George is going to stay out and try. Well, he's going to lose a lot of time now, because he's now got Phil Bargewell and Liam Robber right up his chuff now. So that has made things very interesting. Scott now leads in the Australian Grand Prix then. George in P2, but he's now got all sorts of pressure from Phil Bargewell and Liam Robbo, all starting to fight for this position now. As I think Phil Bargewell goes for a late lunge into the right-hander. Can't quite make it work. Now this is going to really play into his hands as George will now back him up and allow Liam to maybe try and make a move here. As Liam goes very wide through that right-hander and Phil even wider. So here comes Liam Robber on the inside. A very easy move then. Didn't have to try too hard on that one, but now he can chase after his teammate in P2. George still yet to stop. He's on 9-lap-old ultra-soft tyres. And the gap is 9.4 to Scott in P1.
George, last lap, he went wide in one of the gravel traps and got heat blow the gravel in his tyres, much like Carlos Sainz did in the real Grand Prix. And I think he's lucky enough not to have spun on that last corner to keep where he is at the moment.
Yeah, so now massive moment. Here comes Liam Robbo on the inside. He's going to try it. Yeah, no fighting from George there. He knows he's coming into the pit lane. So Liam Robbo into P2, and here comes Phil Bargewell on the inside, diving it down the inside. Can he make that work? He's fighting hard, but George had to give up eventually as he's just coming into the pit lane. So in he comes, almost lost it on the way in as well. But here comes the Matter now to take P4 in this race. He's still going. He's on 10-lap-old ultra-soft tyres, and Paga starting to close in P5 then. And Scott, by the way, is actually building a lead over Lean. He's now almost 11 seconds clear out front. And it could be interesting because the pit stop time is quite short here. So George is going to come out side by side with Sam. Sam's going to just get in front. So Sam managed to get out in front just about there and gets into 10th in front of George. So now George has got some work to do. Just get himself a little bit further up the grid. So now, Paga on fresh softs versus the Matter, who's on 10-lap-old ultra soft tyres. This isn't really going to be a contest as far as I can see. Let's see as they run to Sector 3.
It's looking to be the case of waiting for someone to make the mistake ahead of you and then utilising that mistake to your advantage. For example, Scott getting past George, Parker extending his lead to George nonetheless. I think it's just a case of who can make the least mistakes as the Matter has come to the pits. That's not much of a fight to Parker, who's just got free DRS and free air in front of him.
Exactly. Matt was the last of the Ultrasoft runners. Now everybody will not be on the Ultrasofts unless he goes for a very audacious strategy. He's obviously got a 5-second stop go because they're still holding him in his box. So he's going to go to the soft tyres, and Bob's your uncle. So Scott doing a great job out front, by the way. He's 12.3 seconds. He's pulling almost a second a lap out of Liam. So this could really be a great showing for Scott here. Could be on for a really good result here. He's about 18 seconds ahead of Paga. So he won't. I don't think he'll come out in front of Paga if he pits now, but he should be on for a good result. Meanwhile, let's go back to AVR Jake, who's starting to close up to Hellboy, and then we have Sam just behind him. So these guys really haven't recovered from that massive pile-up we had earlier. As we see in the case of Tom and a few others. A few others have recovered quite well, but they aren't up the front like they were. So it's sort of in that little stage of no one's close enough to do anything to anyone, and no one's making enough mistakes for people to utilise their positions on. But I think the biggest loser of probably that entire incident, more or less, was actually George, who wasn't even involved in the incident. Yeah. Dropped massive. From a net second to... he's behind most of the other drivers overall. He's probably got one less pit stop than them all, but he has dropped probably the most positions from that incident. Yeah. So, interesting enough there. George, I think just from a small mistake, it's cost him so much to be down in 10th. Losing 2 positions in the space of a corner or two means he drops down to 10th. Massive time loss. But he won't have to stop again because he's on the soft tyres, unless he absolutely just takes the life out of them so quickly. But he should be able to get to the end on that set. And now we should see a little battle between the Mercedes teammates here. We have Sam and Jake here. Run down to Sector 3 then. They're both on super softs. Sam, I would reckon, is the quicker of the two. But let's see if we have any team orders. Phil Bardwell in for his stop. He started on the super softs. So now we're going to see the window of these guys on the super softs potentially starting to make their pit stops. So now Liam Robbo will go to P2, Paga to P3, Silent Assassin P4, Dino Joe going to go to P5. 5-second stop go for Phil. So that's going to cost him a lot of time. Onto the softs, and he will not need to stop again. He drops down to 10th. It's a long way. He's going to come out in front of... well, he might actually come out behind Tom here. Yeah, he's going to come out behind the Ferrari of Tom. So he's dropped all the way down to 11th because of how close the field is. But now we're going to see AVR Jake and Sam going at it here. Riding on board with Sam. Let's see how he gets on. Let's see. Running down towards the end of Sector 2. Jake going a little bit defensive there, just weaving over to the right and coming back. And these guys are just kind of catching up to the back of Hellboys. Jake loses it and holds on to it, but He'll now be vulnerable to George. He'll have a momentum. George will have momentum. Scott is in, by the way, from the race lead. Here comes George down the inside of the left-hander. Can he make that work? Yes, he can. And into P8. But now, here we go then. Scott is in. Oh!
What a save, George!
George with a massive save. Apparently, he's going to lose the position, though, as Jake fights back and takes back 8th position. But now Scott has made a stop onto the soft tyres. Liam Robbo still in the lead of this race. As we have Pagani is out. He's the next retirement from this race. He's in the wall. Where is that?
He spun where George managed to save it. George had a little wiggle just after you cut off him, and he managed to keep the car in enough a suitable line to not crash and like Pagani.
Well, Jake came into the pits after that, so that is him going to be down to 12th. As we said, I just saw a massive corner cut from Phil there, but I'll ignore that. But currently in the race lead is Liam.
Phil Bardwell did just get completely. Well, he just got overtaken by the Toro Rosso in a straight line before the start-finish flag. Like on that straight. He must have got such a bad exit that the Toro Rosso just breezed past him and was in front of him before the start-finish flag.
Yeah, same can't be said for this year's Toro Rosso. Oh well. Yeah. Oh dear, I saw Ferrari. It was that McLaren. Sorry, it's a McLaren in the wall. That is Pagani, I think. It's still his dead car on the exit. Yeah, it's still his dead car.
That is a very dangerous situation.
If safety car was on, then we would have a safety car, but it's broken still, so we're not going to have that. But we had this little battle going on between Matter, Tom, and Phil here. This is for 9th position, and George now trying to get himself on the back of Flexi. He's just trailing behind a little bit. And it's getting very overcast here. I just noticed how cloudy it is as I rode on board. It's very dark under the trees.
Is there a chance of meatballs?
Potentially. Especially with a Ferrari around. It definitely increases your chances.
With Paul being in catering now, I think there won't be much food left.
Yeah.
So I think a chance of meatballs might be needed for after the race.
Yeah. So, Sam closed up rapidly to the back of Hellboy then. We're on lap 15 of 29. Liam Robbo's still in the lead, but he's getting caught by Pag at a rapid rate. Silent Assassin just behind him as well, 1.4 behind. And Scott is 4.7 behind them, but he is on a fresh set of softs now. Have a look at this tasty little battle going on as Hellboy runs wide. They all run wide. Massive twitch from Sam, and he's now got his mirrors full of a Force India. Let's see if any moves can be made. We're going to have DRS down this straight. DNA Joe in for his stop. So this is going to be the battle for 5th position now. Sam goes very wide. That's him in the wall. In the wall goes Sam. And that's going to be a massive blow to his race. He loses a bit of his front wing. But that is going to be race over for him, essentially. He's going to drop a long way back. Depending on how bad that wing damage is, with quite a hefty impact in the wall. But we'll see how he gets on. Now, George on the back of Hellboy. Hellboy on very old super softs at this stage. I don't think he's... I'll have to check if he's stopped. But, yeah, he has. But, George on much fresher tyres than him. Let's see how he gets on then. We also have the Matter right on the back of Tom for P8. And the gap up front between Paga and Liam coming down as well. Phil Bardwell in that battle as well. Let's see who's going to come out on top in this little battle then. Darting out of the slipstream goes the Toro Rosso. Let's see if he can get any move done. Good exit from him through the left-hander. Riding on board with him as we run down to the next very, very quick chicane. He's got to get the exit here. Taps the wall with his tyre a little bit. Gets the slipstream. And towards this...
McLaren being finally cleared.
Eventually. Yeah. Oh, Matt very late on the brakes. Almost hit the back of Tom there, but still holding on versus the Toro Rosso.
Little squirt of the throttle there from the matter as George and Hellboy have had a little battle to turn one.
Oh! George
Which
very late
back
on the
from
brakes.
Hellboy.
Yeah, so George was very optimistic. I just caught the end of that and Hellboy came back at him, so he's going to have to try again if he wants that one. No moves between Matter and Tom, but he'll have another bite of the cherry here as we run down to the right-hander. Sam has had to come in for his wing change. He's not going to try around the outside. He goes late on the brakes. He's going to hang around the outside. He's going to go side-by-side to the left-hander. They're going side-by-side, Toro Rosso and Ferrari, but the Ferrari holds on for now. Nice little bit of side-by-side action there. Fair racing from the two of them, but now that has allowed Phil Bargewell to close up to them very, very rapidly indeed. Meanwhile, I just noticed up front, Paga right on the back, and also Silent Assassin is right with them as well. He's on the super softs. I don't know how old his tyres are, but he's right with these guys. He might have to stop again. But now we're going to have, I think, a swap for the lead. So here we go then. Paga and Silent Assassin. Silent Assassin's going to stick with them. He might just hang back and let these guys battle, and that will allow him to close up. He's just out of DRS range. So here comes Paga then on the Force India. Scott sets fastest lap. He's flying on those soft tires. He's pulled 2 seconds out of these guys in that last couple of laps. So Scott is flying at this point in time. Hellboy comes in for his stop. That promotes George to 5th. So he had to fight, but eventually it was relatively easily. Riding on board with the Williams of Paga then through Sector 1 towards the end of Sector 2. Hellboy goes on to the Ultra Softs, interestingly enough. He should be able to get to the end on those. DNA Joe fastest lap on a 1:24.5. Paga getting a good run on the way out of the right-hander, long right-hander. We can maybe go down the inside of this right-hander. Late on the brakes. Is he going to make it? He's going to go very deep onto the grass, but he makes that move. So a nice move from him there, but Liam will have the momentum. So here we go to the very fast chicane, and Silent Assassin is right with them as well. 6/10 up behind then. So running through the chicane. Can Liam have an answer? Can he come back at Paga? He's going to get the slipstream, but Silent Assassin has caught right up to them now, and he needs to get past Liam if he wants to challenge for this race win. He get very close to the back of the gearbox of Liam. And running through this long right-hander. Can he do anything about it? He'll have DRS down this next section. And in comes Liam for his stop eventually. So that promotes Silent Assassin to P2. And Scott, look how quick he's going. He's 1.8 behind. And he could be on to take the race victory if he can hold this pace on. So this is going to be a very, very interesting battle between the front runners here. So Liam, what's he going to go on to? Ultra Softs, I reckon. Yeah, Ultra Softs for him. And he comes out. He's going to come out, I think, in front. He's going to come up behind Tom. He's going to come up behind this massive train of cars here. But yeah, Liam comes out. Oh, it's going to be tight between these guys. He's going to get out in front of Phil Bargewell. Is he going to get out in front? Yes, just about. So he's managed to get out in front of the traffic, but Phil Bargewell is so close to his rear. He's run off on the grass. And here comes Matt. Oh, so close. They're going to go 3 wide down towards the right-hander. Matt goes down the inside. There's contact. And around goes the Toro Rosso. How did he save that? He was saved by the McLaren, it looks like, as he did a half spin there. So a little bit messy, but it ended up being all right. So now Liam...
broken front wing for the matter, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It did look like he went into the back of Liam from my point. Did he go into the back?
I think he did, yeah. I think he tapped the back of him and sent himself around with that one. Hellboy goes past Lyle Blade, that's his teammate. But now Liam Robbo, of course, he's on brand new Ultra Softs. He's going to be pushing very hard. Silent Assassin into the pit lane for his stop. He was going very quickly towards the end of that stint. So he's going to bang on a set of Ultra Softs and see how long he can go. Oh, Liam Robbo looking to get past Tom. He's going to go down the inside. He shoves Tom off the track. And into P5 goes Liam. He's going to be pushing so hard. Silent Assassin's going to come out in front of him. Tom comes into the pit lane as well. So now these guys are in the...
Very light nudge from Liam onto Tom. Very light nudge, which just a tad bit too momentum. Ow! Tom's been held up ever so slightly by Jordan coming in the same lap.
Yeah, Lyle Blade in for his stop as well. Sam running around. He's going to come out. I think he might just come out behind Tom. Or is he going to come out in front of Tom? He's going to come out in front of his former teammate. Into P10, into the points. So now the battle up front is Scott and Paga. They're both on softs. They won't be stopping again. And Scott is going very, very quickly. This is fantastic showing from him today. A very, very unexpected turn of pace from him. But he's on for a podium. And if not the race win, depending on if he can keep this pace up.
I want to know where his pace was last season.
I know. I can't remember if he's got a race victory or not. I don't think he has.
I think he's removed the sandbags. I think he's taken the sandbags off from his little belt. He's taken it off. And hey presto, he's finally getting into gear.
Yeah. I don't think Scott has actually got a win in ILR. I don't remember him ever winning anything. So this could be a massive, massive moment for him today. And he is closing up to the back of Paga. His tyres are much fresher than Paga's. And he's really, really threatening now. We've got about 8 laps to go here in Australia. And we could be about to see the biggest shock win so far this season. Well, it's at the opening round. We could see a shock win. Before, shut up. We're going to see the... damn it. We're going to see a shock win in the first round. Alright, I saved myself there. I saved it.
Going to see the biggest shock so far, the biggest shock win of this season so far.
Yeah, laugh all you want. Laugh all... Oh dear, Scott! Oh dear, former teammates have come to blows. Sam and Tom have made contact. And I think Tom's going to let him through there. So, a little bit of sportsmanship there, but they make contact, which is not what you want. So then, lap 22 of 29, Scott is within DRS range of Paga. We're about to see a battle in the last few laps between these two. The number 13 Renault and the number 21, I think, of Paga. Yep, number 21. George is a further 14 seconds behind, and the guys on the Ultrasoft tyres are pushing very hard. 1:23.5 for Silent Assassin, and the best I think he can hope for today is a 3rd position finish. He's closing in very rapidly on George. But now we see Paga on his ILR2 debut. How can he hold behind Scott? Very experienced driver. How is this one going to end? Bit wide from Paga through that right-hander. Scott just needs to be a little bit patient. Don't try anything stupid. And that's a corner cut. But here we go then. Paga with a poor run out of that right-hander. So running down towards the tight right-hander here. Can he think about anything? No, he can't. Maybe just wait for the DRS. Paga very slow to that right-hander. So riding aboard with Scott. Can he make anything work here as we run to the last sector? Maybe just hang back and wait for that DRS. Paga, I think, starting to struggle on those tyres in the dying laps. DRS for Scott. He's so close to the back of the Williams. Running down towards turn 1. Can he get anything here into turn 1? I don't think so. Just wait for this more effective DRS round. Good run from Paga, actually, through the first couple of corners there. So I don't think Scott's going to be able to try anything. I think he might just have to hang back and wait for his opportunity. Wait for Paga to make a mistake.
He's got to be patient, because in ILR3, when Paga was in the lead, he hardly made any mistakes. If you got to him, you'd have to fight very, very hard to get past him. He won't give up that position easily, and Scott needs to learn. He's going to learn very quickly that it's not going to be an easy job passing Paga, because once you get behind him, you are stuck behind him for as long as you are, until you finally make that move, which will probably take a while.
Yeah.
Experience.
He'll also be running in the dirty air, which won't help his tyres. We also have Silent Assassin. He's now within DRS range of George, so that could be a move for the podium, but we're going to stick with this battle for the lead. Silent Assassin with a 3-second time penalty there. 5 laps to go. And here we go, Scott with a good run, but Paga, as he said, very hard man to pass. So DRS once again, he's even closer than last time. Can he make anything work into turn 1? DRS wide open on the Renault, but good straight line speed in that Williams. So running through turn 1, corner cut from Scott. Paga getting a good line out of that first corner, so I think it's going to be no cigar once again for Scott. So I think he just needs to hang behind. Let's keep an eye on this battle between Silent Assassin and George. I think it's going to be all said and done very quickly. This is for third position, the final podium slot. Silent Assassin on Ultrasofts. Here comes the Ferrari down the inside, very late on the brakes. He's not going to make that. George cuts back and gets the move back again. Very audacious from Silent Assassin. And almost ended in contact, but good reactions from George to see it coming. And just let him go deep on the brakes. And he can easily take that position back.
You could have seen that George was setting up that defensive manoeuvre a mile off, trying to fake Jordan into going down the inside, missing that braking point, getting that position back. You could see it from a mile off. He faked going left, went to the right. Jordan still was committed to that spot, and it didn't come out to be successful at all.
So next time by, 4 laps to go in Australia. The battle for the lead is still very much on, but Scott just can't find a way past this Williams. Good run out of the right-hander. But as you see, he hardly gains anything on the Williams down this straight. He's gaining a little bit each time, but Paga just got massive straight line speed in that Williams. Can he get anything through this left-hander? He's trying his damnedest to try and get past. But Paga is absorbing the pressure like a sponge and doing everything. Oh, Flexi out of this race. Where has he gone off? Oh, he's gone off at sector 2, that is. That's an interesting place to go off. I'm not sure how he's done that.
Broken front wing. Must have spun off the curve into the wall.
Perhaps so, yeah. Silent Assassin now, maybe trying again on George and Scott. Now we have lapped traffic in the way. That's actually AI, Corey's AI, who's still running around. We've got to flick between these two battles as they unfold. Silent Assassin still trying to get his way past George. And he's going to go for a late dive. He maybe try to force George to go deep. Back to the battle for the lead though. Paga with a 5-second stop go. He's got the penalty. So now, is that Scott's... That is probably the race over if Scott does not have a penalty.
I don't think that penalty will actually be...
It won't stand because it was just overtaking AI under yellow flags.
Yeah.
Lapped AI, should I say. So this will still be a battle for the lead, no matter what. So Scott with a good run out of the right-hander, but once again, that Williams just holding station in first position then. Scott needs the run out of the first corner, but he just doesn't seem to get it. Package is on it every time, holding on. He's doing an excellent job to hold on. Meanwhile, back to Silent Assassin and George. George still holding on as well. So they're doing an excellent job to hold on. Each one of them. Is he going to try a late dive once again? I don't think he will. He's so far back, no way. George locking up on that right front, and he goes a little bit deep, and he's going to be vulnerable. Little nudge from Silent Assassin there. Little dive down the inside to show he was there, but no cigar for him once again.
Jordan has to get past George sooner or later. Because that 3-second time penalty will demote him down to 5th, because Liam is catching them pretty quickly. And I think he's starting to realise that, and he's starting to panic and he's wanting to make the move as soon as possible, and he just isn't able to get the final product.
Paga's gone a little bit deep on the brakes, and Scott tried to get the run out, but he just couldn't, as Paga just parked the bus in the middle of the track, and no way for Scott to get through. He's got to think about maybe just diving it and hoping it, but he's being very sensible and trying his damnedest. Paga runs wide and he's got on the grass, so towards turn 1 Paga goes defensive. Scott to the outside. Is he going to make the move into turn 1 around the outside? Be very audacious. Paga holds on the inside, but Scott will have to cut back on the way out, but he loses the back end and he'll have to try again.
It's looking to be like Paga without lower downforce setup is just keeping him ahead of Scott. Scott's just not being given enough opportunities around Australia to make that move stick.
It is very, very difficult to overtake in Australia, as we saw in the real-life Grand Prix in Valtteri Bottas' case. But it's been coming for so many laps, and Scott has been trying for so long. It's got to happen at some point, but Paga is driving inch perfectly to hold on versus Scott here. Paga already has one win in ILR2 as a reserve driver in Mexico. Was it Mexico? I think it was Mexico. No, it wasn't Mexico. It was some other race. USA. Yeah. Now, that's where Scott gets the run. He's got a great run out of the right-hander. So let's see if Scott can make the move here. Can he pull alongside here? He's going to go late on the brakes and try hang around the outside. Paga goes deep, but he still holds on somehow. Paga is driving like an absolute champion to hold on versus Scott, and Scott cannot find a way past. We're going to have 2 laps to go next time by. Let's see then, Paga using every inch of the road to try and stay in front of Scott. DRS on the Renault once again. There won't be a move into turn 1. He'll have to line it up here. And he's trying to get the run out of the first corner, but he can't quite do it. But he's got a better run this time towards turn 2. That'll be turn 3 actually. Can he do anything? No, he can't do anything just yet. It may come down to the last lap. Paga has a 5-second stop-go penalty, but that won't stand for sure. I can tell you that. It's just F1 2017 with its many glitches going at it again. And Silent Assassin still hasn't been able to get past George, who's done a great job to hold him behind. And that's going to be Sam leaving, I think. Yeah. So a little tap of the wall from Scott, and he's going to get a good run out of that right-hander, out of the double chicane. So can he try anything? He's going to pull to the outside once again, but Paga defending holds the middle of the road. And can Scott get the cutback? Yes, he can, but Paga covers it off once again. It's going to come down to the last lap for the season opener of ILR2 Season 3. What a cracking race it's been so far, and it's about to come to a climax. Riding on board with the Renault of Scott. He's been trying for about the past 9 laps to try and get past Paga. It's do or die now for the Renault driver. Down towards turn 1. Paga holding the middle of the road. Scott can't do anything. Tries to go to the outside. Paga cuts the corner. And he gets a bad run. Here comes Scott to the inside. DRS for the Renault. Can he do anything? He's got in front. Can Paga defend? No. And Scott into the lead. Paga tries to come back. Can he do it? No, he can't. Scott into the lead on the last lap in ILR2. Tommy's out. Where has he gone off? Has there been an accident? Oh dear, that's a massive impact in the wall for the Ferrari. He's not going to be happy with that. Back to the battle for the lead. Paga still trying to see if he can get back past Scott because the penalty against him will not stand. The gap stands at 0.2 of a second. Very close to the back of him now as we run down towards the final sector. Paga is pressuring Scott. He's got a lot more straight line speed. There's contact. Paga has to react. Nothing for him yet. Scott holds on the inside. Nothing for Paga, and I think that might be all said and done. Scott has just got a couple of more corners to negotiate to take his first win in ILR. Lap 29 of 29. It's all come down to this. What a race. Silent Assassin has got past George. He's done it because... So he spun. Oh. He spun.
Liam into 3rd place.
On the last lap, Scott is going to take victory here in ILR2 Season 3, Round 1, Paga P2. Liam Robbo on the final lap will come across to take P3 out of nowhere.
And Liam, who made the comment in the chat that he is ILR3 bound, comes in 3rd. As my PlayStation is overheating like a madman, and that's why I've been silent for so long.
Silent Assassin comes across the line in P5. DNA Joe on his ILR2 debut takes P6. Hellboy, there's a very close battle. Hellboy just holds on versus Phil Bargewell for P7. AVR Jake P9, and Lioblade takes the final point. And only 10 drivers finish the race. 10 retirements from this Grand Prix, but what a finish, what a climax, and what a season opener. That is what you want. Unpredictable, and a debut winner, as far as I can remember, is a debut winner in ILR. Congratulations to Scott. He takes the honours here today. Paga in P2 and Liam Robbo on the final lap. I think it was contact potentially between Silent Assassin and George, and Liam Robbo picked up the pieces, and we're going to go to the podium celebrations now. And the day will belong to the Renault team there, standing on the top step of the podium. It is Scott who takes the honours here in Australia for the first round of ILR2 Season 3. If that is what every race is like, I would like to be tuning in every single week. 7 p.m. BST. We're heading for round 2 next week in Bahrain. We hope to see you then. Thank you so much for watching. So from me and Brandon in the commentary box, it's good night and have a good one. Good night.